Welcome back to the most news in the morning. Private Joe Foster is one of dozens of people who were wounded in the deadly shooting at Fort Hood last week. He was hit in the hip trying to save those around him, but he survived, and he says that he is still ready for deployment in Afghanistan in January. Private Foster and his wife Mandy are here joining us live from Fort Hood this morning. Private Foster, Mandy, it's great to see you this morning. First of all, Joe, let me say to you that we extend our most sincere condolences to you and the other your fellow members of your battalion and the entire Army family over what happened on Thursday. It's just such a terrible tragedy.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
So how are you doing today, Joe? We saw you limping around over the weekend on a cane. How's the hip feel?
It's getting better slowly but surely. My wife's been doing a real good job making sure I stay off of it.
Right. And do you have to undergo any more operations, or has that already been done?
I didn't actually have to undergo any operations. The bullet that hit me when it went in, it hit my femur and ricocheted and exited back out not too far from the original wound.
Oh, I had heard that you might have to have some bullet fragments removed, but you don't need to do that anymore?
We're still pretty much where I have to go back to the doctor, make sure that there's no possibility that anything's caught in there or anything might have broken off the bullet, be anywhere.
Gotcha. So the first moments of Thursday afternoon, can you tell our viewers, where you were, what happened, how it all unfolded?
I was sitting in what they call Station 13. It's where we get basically our final outs of our RSP system. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in about the second row back when the assailants stood up, yelled Allahu Akbar in Arabic, and he opened fire.
Really? So he did shout Allahu Akbar. We had heard reports of that, but nothing confirmed. But you were there. That's what you heard?
I believe so.
Right.
I believe so, sir.
So there was Joe, there was absolutely just no warning about this. He just kind of happened out of the blue.
No warning, sir. If there was we're all trained. Pretty sure we would have taken care of it as soon as there was.
I'm sure you were. Mandy, where were you when you first learned of the shooting, and did you have any idea where Joe was at the time?
I was actually at home with our two children, and no, I did not know where he was at the time.
Oh my goodness. So how did you learn about it?
I had a friend actually call and tell me there was shootings on Fort Hood.
Oh wow. So and you didn't know that Joe was over at the processing center there. I mean, what was your reaction when you found out that he had actually been inside that melee?
Well, I did know he was there. I knew he was doing paperwork and getting ready to deploy, but I didn't know that's where the shootings were happening at that time.
Oh my goodness. Joe, were you inside that building as we hear the call to reveille there at Fort Hood? You sprang into action when the shooter started firing off his rounds. What did you do?
Basic training protocols. Got down on the floor, moved to cover. One soldier had peeked his head around the cubicle I was hiding in. Mm-hmm. Peeked his head around. I pulled him in. Another soldier had come in. As soon as the assailant had moved his way away from us, those two got up. We then got out. I got out shortly behind them. After that, ran behind a Connex and started doing what I was trained to do.
Yeah.
Started helping get people into the next building, get them under cover.
So you were acting like a soldier, you were acting heroically. We should point out that you're with the 20th Engineer Battalion, and despite your best efforts, and I guess the efforts of your comrades as well, 4 members of the battalion were killed, 10 others were injured, and you were shot in the hip, and you didn't realize it at the time?
I had realized it at first, but with that much adrenaline, you tend to forget things.
Yeah, I read over the weekend you said it was because of your tough nature. You say, I'm Irish, it hit the bone, and it bounced out.
Pretty much. My mom said if it had been anywhere else, it would have just bounced off. I'm too thick-headed.
Mandy, I assume that you had concerns over his pending deployment, but did you ever think that anything like this could happen on post?
No, it was a real shock to find out that had happened.
Wow.
It's terrifying.
And Joe, your thoughts on that too? You know, Fort Hood is your home. It's where you train. It's supposed to be safe haven, and suddenly, what happened on Thursday just completely shatters the whole notion of that.
Well, sir, it's still home. I still consider myself pretty safe.
Right.
This was something that couldn't be controlled. It was something that we couldn't predict was going to happen.
And you're still scheduled for deployment in January. You're still scheduled for deployment in January there, Joe. Has this affected at all your thoughts about going to Afghanistan?
No, still a soldier, day in, day out. I do my job.
And Mandy, how you feeling about that?
At least he's safe there. He can fire back, right?
At least he'll be able to do that if somebody comes after him. Private Foster, Mandy Foster, it's so good to talk to you this morning. Again, our condolences. We're glad to hear that you're on the mend, and take care of yourselves.
Thank you,
sir.